Hello, class. In this week's discussion, we are to argue why JSON is a popular format and find an example of a public data source that uses JSON. So, JSON is a JavaScript object notation. It is an open standard file format and data interchange format that uses human readable text to store and transmit data objects consisting of attribute value pairs and array data types. JSON has taken over the world. Today, when any two applications communicate with each other across the internet, odds are they're doing so using JSON. Today is the format of choice for almost every public available web service, and is frequently used for private web services as well. Based on my presentation, JSON is much easier to use compared to XML. JSON is more popular than XML because of the JavaScript dominance as the most widely used language of today. With JavaScript's influence of software trends in the last decade, JSON continues to receive increasingly more attention than any other data interchange format. Also, converting XML to a JavaScript object can take from tens to hundreds of lines of code and ultimately requires customization based on the specific object being parsed. Converting JSON to a JavaScript object takes one line of code and does not require any prior knowledge about the object being parsed. JSON is extremely lightweight to send back and forth in the HTTP requests and responses due to the small file size. It's easy to read compared to something like XML since it's much cleaner and there's not as many opening and closing tags to worry about. JSON also integrates very nicely with JavaScript since JSON is just a subset of JavaScript, which means anything you write in a JSON is a valid JavaScript. Almost every single major language has come from a library or built-in functionality to parse JSON strings into objects or classes in that language. This makes working with JSON data extremely easy inside of a programming language. JSON is popular because it works natively with JavaScript and Python. Probably the biggest advantage of favor of JSON is that it can be handled natively by JavaScript. However, it has some limitations, which include lack of schema, no data type, no comments, and is less verbose than XML. This concludes my argument.